There are millions of Americans unemployed. Maybe you're one of them. Most need to find a better job. Some just want to find any job, but they can't do it. We're going to talk about specific reasons why and the changes you need to make in order to increase the probability of getting a job. First, your job search has no focus. There are two types of people, specialist and generalist. You need to be a specialist. You need to specialize. Now, being a generalist is great. For mid-career, late career, you want to get into management, yeah, you need to be a generalist. You need to know a little bit of everything. But you can't be sitting there trying to enter into an industry, trying to get a lower level job and paint yourself as a generalist. Because that's not what organizations want. Organizations, they want a solution to their pain point, and you're able to provide that by being a specialist. It's great that you know how to do multiple things. You know how to turn a wrench, you know how to make coffee, you know how to analyze reports, but have a clear focus. What job are you after? If you're after multiple jobs, you better have multiple resumes that paint you as a specialist for each one of those jobs. So if you're a specialist when it comes to Excel, then have a resume focused on your ability to analyze data. You know SQL, you know Excel, you know Access, you know all of those programs. Have a resume for that. Then if you want to look at you being a trainer, right, or presenting training material, have another resume focused on that. Paint yourself as a specialist. In the federal government, there's over 300 different type of jobs. And a person could be eligible for over a dozen type of jobs. But for every job series they're targeting, they need to have a separate resume because there's different keywords associated with that job series. It's like the language of the job. Number two is you're not ready for the interview. It shocks me how many people go into an interview completely unprepared. There's millions of Americans that can only dream of an interview. And here you are winging it. And when you don't prepare for it, many times you just end up wasting your time. Instead, spend hours preparing, not minutes, hours preparing. Study the organization, look at the mission, look at the vision of the company, of the agency. Then start crafting an intro. What's the best way that you can present yourself to show that you're going to address the pain points that the company is experiencing? Have that intro ready to go. Most interview questions are situational and behavioral. So what does that mean? That means you need to have success stories that communicate what you will do in certain situations, demonstrating that you go ahead and you use the right behavior to solve problems. So it takes time to develop that. You're writing it out, you're typing it out, you're reading it, you're going on mock interviews. All of this is preparing you for when you walk into that room. Do not go in there and say, I'll do anything. I'll just do anything. It's been so long since I had a job. It comes across as desperate. I know it could be true. I know that maybe you are willing to do anything, but you don't want to have that vibe going on in the interview room. When you go into the interview room, you have an objective. The objective is to secure that job offer by any means necessary, right? Because if you need it, financially speaking, if you need it to survive, that is the objective. By any means possible, you're leaving that room with a job offer. Treat it that way. Prepare for it that way. Number three, your resume is horrible. How can this be? You paid good money for that resume. You showed it to your peers and friends and they said, hey, that looks good to me. That's because they're lying to you. 90% of all your friends are going to lie to you because they care about your feelings if they're good friends. I've spoken to 200 people and looked at all of their resumes, and the vast majority of them, they were mediocre or less. There was so much room for improvement. How can you fix this? I want you to focus on the first page. So if you're going to spend 4 hours on your resume, I want 3 of those hours to be on the first page because that is what people are looking at. The second thing is go ahead and step away from your responsibilities, right? Everyone's doing that. There's a litany of responsibilities. Look at the achievements. And don't tell me you didn't achieve anything. Look at your last performance appraisal. You achieved stuff. Focus on your achievements. Answer these simple questions. What did you do? How did you do it? What was the result? Can you quantify it? Answer those. I want to see strong achievements in there. Make it relevant to the job you're applying to. If you're applying to be a financial analyst, it's not the best time to talk about your CPR classes. It's great that you know CPR and you were a lifeguard 12 years ago, but it's not relevant on your resume. Focus on the financial data that you've analyzed and the differences and the impact you made within that organization. That's where the focus should be. Number 4, you're not networking. About half of us are introverts. we don't like people, and that doesn't matter because we need more opportunities. How do we get more opportunities? We create more professional relationships. You step outside of your comfort zone and talk to that stranger and find out what interests them and what information they could potentially share and reveal to you. There's so many doors of opportunities that are never revealed to us because we don't want to step outside of the comfort zone. We don't want to strike up the conversation. We do not want to be vulnerable. I ran a poll on the channel recently asking, what type of networking events do you go to? 70% of over 200 people say they don't go to any networking events. Why not? It doesn't have to be physical. It can be virtual. Now, physical is better. The first networking event I went to, which was physical, my friend got a job offer, GS11, no interview. The job wasn't even posted on usajobs.gov. He got that job offer. He was sitting right next to me at the time. So these events, they do produce job offers. And at a minimum, you're going to start to form a connection with an individual that could potentially share information to get you your next job. But even if you don't go to these events, you can still network. You can do it on LinkedIn. You can filter people there. Find people with your commonality. Your same hometown, the same university that you attended, maybe the same military background. When you have commonality with somebody, you're more willing to share and to connect. So you could do that. Find somebody that works in an organization, in an agency that you want to work in, strike up that conversation and start putting in the work to develop that relationship. Now, if you're interested in a federal government job, but you want to get a higher salary, let's say 140, that seems like a pretty good salary for you. You want to know everything that goes into securing a job like that, from when you apply, how long it takes to get referred, interviewed, all that information. If you're interested in that, I want you to watch this video next. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please click like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.